Hello. Architecture as a product, and the question that we will try to answer is it possible for enterprise architects to be really agile? Are there any architects on here? Okay, there are, so I'm doomed. Okay, but let's try to answer this question. Is it possible for enterprise architect to be really agile? No. Thank you. Okay, it looks like it's the previous version of the presentation. So let's rewind and once again. Is it possible for enterprise architects to be really agile, now for real? So if for real, I owe you a disclaimer. Probably I'm the least experienced person on this conference in terms of agile. So if you are expecting some, advanced methodology, terminology, and so on, you will not find it here. It will be more personal story of me, of my product, and this is what I can promise that it will be personal, maybe not so much professional. Okay, so let's start. What problem we are solving? So why this question, what's wrong with the enterprise architect, or maybe what's wrong with the agile and with these two together? So architects and architecture. What is the architecture? And everything that you will see here, these are not the definitions. So do not quote me. This is just something to set the stage. It's oversimplified, so just please be that in mind. So the architecture is some kind of the model, sometimes of the system, sometimes of the whole enterprise, sometimes of the part of the enterprise, and all the components that are inside of the system, all connection interfaces, how the data flows inside the particular components. And there are many types of architects: solution architects, enterprise architects, data architects, cloud, Java, network, you name it. There is, I think, lots of, maybe even hundreds, flavors of architects. And one of this flavor is enterprise architects. And who is the enterprise architect? Well, sometimes the people called us astronauts. We are on the orbit above the enterprise. Usually we are present only in the biggest company, the corporations. And we are looking into the corporation as a whole, to all the ecosystem of the applications, all the data, all the processes, sometimes on the budget, sometimes we are looking into business processes and trying to navigate this whole company with all of these components into the bright future. At least this is how we want to be seen in the organizations. And this is when it starts to be personal. I'm the enterprise architect for many years. I'm also when the Agile came, I was fascinated by it, the idea in the Agile Manifesto, how we looks in a new way for solving things, that working product is more important than some documentation, than its independence, and the being agile, reacting to the changes was something that was speaking to me. But for the other side, I see this enterprise architecture and what we are doing. So the long-term planning, the control, the governance, is everyone working as we design in our big plan. So these two things hasn't been, in my opinion, fitted together. There was some misalignment. And I was thinking how to solve it, and I was waiting, okay, what would be the world reaction to this conflict? So this is one answer. This is, okay, I'm very not good in pronunciation. SAF, Scalable Agile Framework, version 6, I think. I don't know nothing about it except this, one slide. It looks very simple, very agile, everything is clear. And are here the architects? Yeah, we are here. Okay, so we are safe. We are in the Agile framework. That means everything is correct. Or maybe not. So the first thing is that the Scalable Agile Framework is just the example. Probably I will prepare something similar for any other framework. And it's not something wrong with this framework. It's just like this very simple principles of Agile. If you try to implement then these principles in the big corporation with all the bureaucracy, processes, different products, politics, governance, and so on, it's very hard. So what I understand was it's during these years, the Agile, this initial idea was just hidden becomes under the next layers of complexity, because these frameworks try to, if they want to be implemented in the big corporations, then have to somehow address this all additional roles that are in these big corporations that are present, like enterprise architects. This also wasn't answering the question, can enterprise architects be really agile? Because it's showing, okay, there is a place how we could put enterprise architects into the agile company, but are these enterprise architects really working agile, or they are doing the same things that they were doing before in just, the different organization layer? Okay, so enough of that, because that was like some kind of theory and my thinking, but I want to give you a particular story, what happened in particular place. And this place is a BNP Paribas Poland. One of the biggest bank in Poland, not the biggest one. There are some banks bigger than us, there are some banks smaller than us, but it's big enough to be considered corporation with all good and bad things that are living in the corporations. We have few million customers, we have about 1,000 people in IT, so all good and bad things related with such organizations are present also in BNP. And 2 years ago, or two and a half years ago, we jumped into the agile world. And as you see here, it's from our target operating model, but the agile framework that we choose, I call it Spotify-like. So tribes, chapters, products, I will not go into the details. As I mentioned, probably you know this much better than me. But there was one unique thing, one unique idea that BNP has done, and this unique idea was defining architecture as a product. So enterprise architect, these navigators, has been defined as a separate product, the same as other products that are responsible for development of different products, banking products like credits, cards, and so on and so on. And this was the idea that attracted me to the bank. I wasn't working for BNP during this transformation. Product architecture and this defining the architecture as a product wasn't my idea, but it was something that attracted me to the bank because I have all these minds in my head. Okay, so enterprise architects, agile, how it should work together, and it looks very promising. Yes, somebody is not trying to put the enterprise architects in the some agile framework, but is trying to do enterprise architects to be really agile and work in the agile way. So I joined the BNP, and I've asked, okay, so what is this product architecture? What's behind it? My role was product owner of this product architecture and also the chief architect. So I was just combining some part of the architect, the expert type of the role, and the PO. And when I asked this, okay, what's behind this product architecture? Everyone looked at me and say, we hire you to tell us what's this product architecture. So it appears that it was like the idea, but then it was tabula rasa, the blank page ready to be fulfilled, and I was the person whose job, one of the duties was to define what this product architecture means. So because this product architecture, the team behind it, it was 9 persons. They were lead/enterprise architects. So I choose from the enterprise architecture some part of it. There are some frameworks that are describing the enterprise architecture. The most known is TOGAF, very heavy, lots of documentation, lots of processes. Okay, and let's leave TOGAF. So I took some fragment of it, but some even very important things I leave. I don't want to have it in my product architecture. And that was with some other things related to architecture, to solution architectures, to data architectures. I just pick what I think will be useful for the idea that I have for product architecture. And the same I done with Agile. So I'm, very newbie in this, so I was picking more or less randomly. Let's try this, let's try this. Some ideas that are very fundamental for you was, like eye-opening for me. And I was just mixing these different blocks, trying to build something. But that was like the idea, and now let's go into the details of it. So you will see what parts has been taken from the Agile, some examples what we are doing. And I I will describe it in yes versus no's. So we'll see some parts of the Agile that we have adapted, and some parts that we don't adapt, or we tried but we failed. So let's start with the yeses. Product owner empowerment. So that was the first thing. That was really something that helped me to build this product, that I have the freedom, I have a lot of independency, of course, also lots of responsibility, but it was up to me how this product should look like. It also, this strong power owner empowerment that is in BNP helped me with the discussion with other stakeholders, because I was one of them. It was not the product owner who came and says, okay, and architects, I need an architect, give me one, because I have an important product. It was me who was defining the backlog, who was setting the priorities, and that was me who was responsible for the value that my product is creating. So that was one thing that really I took from the Agile. And this is the example, the vision and the goals of my product. If you take a look into this, there are some part of enterprise architecture that I've used, but there are also some that are missing. For example, enterprise architects usually are responsible for something that is called architectural repository, a big repository of all documents, how the architecture look like. The architects are responsible for preparing this documentation. I don't want to do this. This is something that, if I'm talking with the architects, they are extremely surprised. So you are not doing the solution architectures, you're not doing the architecture, so what else are you doing? We as a product are giving tools to others to provide better solutions. So we are a provider of tools that help them to build the solutions. We are not building or designing these solutions. The second is Scrum Master and Chapter Lead. We have this Spotify-like model, and product architecture is quite specific because the chapter and the product, these are the same people. Because all lead architects or enterprise architects are from the company are in my product. Also, there are the chapter consists the same people. And I have the chapter lead and the Scrum Master, and you can say, okay, great. 9 persons and 3 persons to manage them look like an overhead, maybe, but for me it's a great help. The chapter lead, who is Konrad, who is responsible for all things related with soft management of people, so trainings, holidays, and such things. And because I'm not only the product owner, but also the chief architect, sometimes I need to concentrate and focus on this second part of my job, to do some analysis, to make some decisions, sometimes a very hard one. It's good to have somebody who is helping you with other duties. And the Scrum Master, Magda, without Magda, I would be doomed. Because I'm just this newbie who is frantically choosing different things from the Agile, trying how they work, what's not working. Without Magda, it will never work. She is taking care of me, taking care of the team, and making this everything that everything is working. So these are just two roles and 2 persons that have been necessary and that I used from the Agile to build a good product. Okay, and now if there's one thing that I want you to remember from all this presentation, this is it. It's about the MVP, minimum viable product, and the increment. I think that this is one of the most known infographics about the Scrum. I even don't need to ask, probably all of you are familiar with this. And I can with 100% sure and with proud say that enterprise architects never ever worked like this upper part. We never work this way. It's like, for me, it's ridiculous. You're giving a wheel, then 2 wheels, then the frame, and the 4th iteration, the car. It's not how we work, how we have been working. This is how we have been working. The first iteration, customer get this, nothing. The second iteration, nothing. We were discussing. The third iteration, still discussing, maybe arguing each other. The same in 4th, and now around 5th iteration. We are getting back with the pile of documents. Very mature, round words, round phrases, very wise, 200 pages. And the customer, the stakeholder is asking, okay, architects, what should I do? Oh, it depends. It depends from what? Read it and you will know. This is how we were working. And this is what I want to have in my product. So I want to use this idea to have increment, so we are giving the skateboard, then something, then something, then something, and finally, after lots of iteration, we have our product ready. Also, I want to give to the customers, and my customers, there are two types of my customers. First are like high-level management. They need some, products from me that show them what to do. Yeah, show me what should I do with my applications, where should I invest, where we have the biggest problem, how to deal with the legacy, and they just need some PowerPoints with, smiley faces, dollar signs, this one is green, this one is red, so on and so on. The second type of my customers are developers, and the developer solution architects, the squads. So they need some, I want to give them some standards if they are building something, so they don't need to build it from scratch. They have some, building blocks like Lego bricks that they can reuse to build the solution. And what I want to do, I want to give them these solutions, both this high-level management and the developers, as soon as possible, this MVP concept. So even if we know it's not ready, we know there are lots of holes, gaps, even some errors, but let's show it to them, they give us the feedback, yeah, okay, it looks poor, but we see a value in it, continue, okay, or this is not something that we want. So we want to work this way, and a few examples, the roadmaps. So we are showing what we are going to do, or what are the plans with the portfolio of our application. As you see, it's very advanced architecture tooling called PowerPoint. There are some squares with different colors. And there are, of course, in this first version, there were errors. Maybe something was not like we wanted to be. If there's, each 10, one is wrong, that's fine. If you are making a good decision 9 times of the 10, that means that you are bringing the value. It's very primitive in the form, but it has the content that our stakeholders told us, okay, it's fine, it's good. What's most funny, the biggest value in this was not for example, the high-level manager or the tribe lead, that it's showing what to do with his application portfolio. The most value they find that they were able to copy-paste this to the PowerPoint. So, yeah. If it's working, it's working. The second one, debt registry. The tech debt, architectural debt, is a big part of the architectural work. And if you want to be an expert and more about the tech debt management, there is lots of sources, lots of methodologies, lots of metrics that you can use to measure your tech debt on the application level, on the enterprise level, somewhere between. So when we got the task, okay, we have as an organization, we are after lots of acquisitions, so we have the problem with tech debt and with the legacy software. So architects show us how much this debt we have, what to do with it. We start discussing. We start this 5 increments cycle when we provide nothing to the organization. After 1 month, we were still discussing, still adding new metrics, removing some old ones, and the whole organization was waiting. So when we switch into the product, I said, okay, enough. Let's sit down, everyone, 1 hour, just from the head, write everything that you think is not working in our organization. Do not worry about, have I write all? Is it all on the same level? Just write it. And everyone in the team do it. We have the list. Is it complete? No. Are the graduation the same? No. Probably, some architects was more severe, some less severe, so something should be here in one area and is not present. Don't care. We have the MVP. We start measuring it. OKRs related with tech debt, with the debt registry has been put into our CIO OKRs. So it was working. It was the MVP who proved its value, even if look into the whole theory behind the tech debt. It's you can be ashamed. The architects was very ashamed showing something like that, but it's not important. Important is that even in this form, it brings the value to organization. The next one, the bubbles. The bubbles are the investment framework that shows in which area of our company should we invest money. I'm talking about the IT, not about the business. Of course, again, very advanced tool, Excel. And behind these bubbles, there is some engine that is counting different aspects of the application ecosystems. And behind this engine, there is expert judgment. So we were just maybe not guessing, but using our best effort, trying to put the numbers behind some metrics. But it worked. It worked. It's probably not 100% accurate. There is lots of errors, but for MVP, for some first view of our environment, it worked and it brings value to our stakeholders. So that was the MVP. The other is fail fast. There was we had some products. One was called bank in a slide. We were trying to draw all bank applications on one slide, just something like a roadmap, but more visual, showing different areas, and it failed. It was a lot of the effort, but no one used it. So, okay, if we wait till we have this perfectly done, till we wait these 5 cycles before we announce this to the organization, probably it will hurt if no one will use it, because we show it to the organization on the early stage with lots of stupid things on it, but already the organization said, it's nice, maybe I will use it, maybe not. Oh. There was no, hell yeah in the organization, so we just stopped doing this. And I was really, really, really scary when I was putting this slide in the presentation. Okay, the big stage, big conference, experienced people, and after 20 minutes of talk, I'm proudly announcing that, yeah, I implemented the product backlog. So it was a little, I was a little scary to give this, but yes, product backlog was something that enterprise architects, at least these teams in which I was working before, was not using. Why? Because we are special. I have such different... Yeah, okay. My reaction was very, very similar. Yes, we have different tasks. Sometimes our work is this big, long, advanced analysis. Sometimes we are just, on the meeting, and after the meeting, we are sending the email. Okay, that was good. Think about that and contact this person because they are trying to do something similar. And this is all our job, our task. Sometimes we are just scanning through the portfolio of 100 applications, checking, okay, everything fine, I don't need to intervene. But when we try to somehow these all tasks put into the backlogs, we have the backlog, we are still learning it. The resolution is not enough for purpose, but there are tasks like e-banking others. So these are the tasks that probably shouldn't be here, but that's okay. That's our first version of our product backlog. Again, very advanced tool, Jira. And now the nose, so what hasn't worked in our use case, or what we were not able, we don't know how to use. Daily, we do not have daily. It was like 9 architects, everyone from each area. Everyone have little different tasks, so it was very hard to describe all what's happening in this very short amount of time, and what's more, this details was not interesting for the rest of the team. So we do not do dailies, but we have something other. We have refinement. It's bi-weekly, so it's 2 times in a week, 1 hour and a half. And this is like, okay, we are talking these big things that needs to be discussed in the whole group. There are some tasks that everyone is involved, like, for example, there are some changes in the payment schema. It's called, the XML model in Swift. The details are not important, but this will affect very many areas in the bank. The applications for the customers, the data warehouses, the payments ecosystem, and so on and so on. So we need the place when we can, as an architect, discuss about it. Okay, in my area it will have such effect, in mine it will have such effects. Let's think how to do it. Let's think how to help each other. The chapter meeting, it's the meeting once per week. All things that are not exactly related to the backlog and to the tasks, but the other things that the team wants to discuss. And the last one, Ogórek's duty. Ogórek's, that's me. And this is in Friday, 1 hour, and this is, I have to call in to this meeting, but the rest, it's completely voluntary. If you want, if you have something that you want to ask me, anything about the task, about something else, you find a good meme or you find a good joke and you want to share it, come on, we can spend an hour by exchanging gossips or jokes. And usually on this, even on these duties, almost whole team is calling in, and most of the time we are talking about something that is happening and that has some impact on our backlogs. So even if it's just 1 hour call for everything, usually it's utilized in the really important things. And the second, no sprint goal, it's very hard for me. I was trying, but I was unable to find a good goal for each sprint. So instead of that, we have a continuous flow. So if there is a new task, it appears on our backlog, there is some work in progress, and so on. So, is it possible for enterprise architects to be really agile? Maybe. But what we have done, this product architecture and this all things that has been put inside this, I'm missing a good word. Frankenchild, don't know. The mix of different ideas from the agile, some kind of our own framework inside the company who is using their own framework. It's not only the product, but as our things that we are delivering, it's product architecture, it's always also some kind of experiment. Like we are doing these roadmaps, the tech debt registry, also we as a structure, as a team, as a concept of product of architecture, we also are experiment. Probably we haven't failed fast because organization find a value in our team. Probably we are very close to the beginning of the road of this all journey. I think that what we are delivering is not the skateboard. We are not forcing our board and the developers to balance on the skateboard, but probably in terms of what we are delivering, what the maturity of these products, we are far away from our final goal, this beautiful car. And now that's all, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a lot of questions. I will try to ask them in the order that they are voted. So, the first one. You said that company see the value. So, what value brings an enterprise architect to the company?
Okay, it depends. Each of this product delivers different value. As an organization, we had this big issue with, we still have, with tech debt. We are after acquisition of the other big banks. The two big banks are changing into one, there's always lots of things that you are not doing in the correct way because there is a speed limit, there is the time constraints. So being an enterprise architect and showing on the roadmaps and on this tech debt registry what are the biggest pain points, this biggest steel ball that is connected via chain to your leg and is slowing your organization. Showing this will help the organization to remove this biggest tech debt. Also because this has been put into the CIO OKRs, that means that it's really happening. So there is maybe not the pressure, but there is a climate in the organization to remove this. Also, we have some dedicated budget in the enterprise architecture for such things. So the additional benefit is that we could, sponsor some actions related with this removing the tech debt. So this is the one thing. If you are looking for the other products that we are delivering, for example, this investment framework, based on this investment framework, the budgets for the next year were planned. Of course, it was not the only input used in this planning, but it was there. So the value was, the better spending or the better allocation of the costs and the budgets on the IT level. I haven't been showing the products that I want to do for the developers because I'm, I'm on this skateboard level, so not many to show you, but the value of such things is that, for example, different teams do not to reinvent the wheel over and over again. So, few examples.
Thank you. So the follow-up question, how do you define the tech debt and how do you measure it?
Okay, that's an extremely difficult question because we go to this road like, let's define the tech debt and let's prepare a framework how to measure it. And it was about 2 months of discussion and we had nothing. So my decision was just do a list. So now there is a list and we are measuring when the things are removed from this list. My next goal or the next thing that I want to have in this is to have, because at the moment we have only like high, medium, low in terms of priority. I want to change this high, medium, low into the value in money. I'm not really sure how we do it and how accurate it will be, but it will appear and it will, show you the value and the measurement of the tech debt not only in the numbers, like so some counter and trying to lower it, but also in terms of money. But it's I don't want to go into overcomplication, so it will be like small step after the small step. The final stage, I want to have this like measured in money and have a good algorithm behind that will showing, okay, this number, this value in money, what's the origins of that.
Thank you. The next question. Are teams comfortable working with emerging architecture or do they prefer concrete guidelines and guide rails from the architects?
That's the question for the teams. Probably if you ask them about what do you think about the product architecture and this idea, they will tell you that, okay, so these guys are, living in the ivory tower and trying to force us to do some strange things. We are deep into, we have jumped really deep into the Agile, so there is this high feeling of independence in the teams. So they prefer to be independent, and it's building the relations, sometimes more softly, sometimes more hardly. We are also owners of something that is called the validation process, so each solution that has been prepared has to be validated. There are some rules and some regulations that we have to follow as the organization. And in this, we are these bad guys who are sometimes, blocking some ideas. Yeah. So if you ask the developers team, probably they will be more happy without us. But there are some things that I think that we are giving them that bring also them the value.
Okay, there is also follow-up question for this. Do you have the situation when the team convince you to change some architecture decisions?
Yes.
Or you are always right?
No. To be honest, the role of the chief architect, I do not think that it's somebody who has the final decision. If so, I would not need the lead architects to help me if I knew everything the best. Usually, it's that if there is some decision that it's hard because we know that it will create some controversy in the organization. So I'm taking responsibility for that. So I'm telling, okay, this is something that we want to do, and I, Wojciech, as a product owner, are personally accountable for that. So very often this fail fast concept, it's very painful. No one likes to fail, fast or slow. Sometimes, if you give the decision the direction and the reality shows that you were wrong, the best way is to change this decision.
Mm-hmm. Is there a resistance among architects to work in the more agile way and giving teams tools or opinions rather than designing and directing the teams?
Of course there is. Also, if I look into the mirror, I also see the guy who is not 100% convinced. It's in the architect's soul, I think, to prepare everything perfect. So I was also working, and I still sometimes have to stop myself from, okay, Wojciech, it's enough. Just show it to the world instead of trying to make it better and better and better and better. So, what was the question? Did I answer the question?
I think yes.
Okay.
The next question is from the different area, so about your cooperation. No dailies, but still peer review. So how does it happen? The daily does not have value for you, but peer review got.
By peer review, you mean?
Whoever write this question. Okay.
Peer review?
Yeah.
Really was there?
Okay, no peer review appears.
So, yeah, well, the problem with the daily was why we do not use daily, because it's that meeting that should be short, yeah? Only a few minutes. You are just saying what you want to do, to find out if it's somehow, any other person from the team can help you with this, or there is some, things that you need support. And for our to exchange the knowledge, especially if this is a tool, there is a task that is, hitting more or impacting more the areas, and more architects are involved. It needs more like some kind of the workshop than a quick during the daily exchanging what I'm planning to do this day. So that's why we do not do daily. But of course we are, architects are consulting, especially if, somebody is doing something that is touching other areas and he needs to gain some knowledge, he needs to validate his solution with some other architects. We are doing this, but not during the daily. I think that's the best answer that I can get.
Okay. Next questions are about your process. Who use your product and how do you get the feedback? And the next one is, do you keep the fixed iteration length or it depends?
The answer for the second part, it depends. Because there are very different tasks that are in my backlog. The first one, the feedback. Okay, so there are two types of customers. Let's name customers. First is this high-level management. They are asking, like, this investment framework was COO of the company asked me, Wojtek, we need something like that. You have 3 days, yeah? And I got a constant feedback after these 3 days. So it was like this group of people do not have problems with giving feedback, very direct. The rest is like, we are presenting our products, and this just came back to me with the architects are telling what they are hearing during the their work with the teams. So this is like that. We are just receiving this feedback from many channels. As I said, this one of the main group of the stakeholders has not problem with reaching me and giving very direct feedback.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot more question, but I will ask just one more. But I do believe it will answer a couple more from this. What kind of decisions do the team make? When do they need to ask the architecture team for help? So where is the boundary between the decisions of the team and the decision of the enterprise architects?
Usually, if you have to do something that, by the team, I understand the teams, the developer teams, the squads. If there is something that they have to do and it's touching more areas than only their product, and very often in the banking world, when everything is interfaced with everything, yeah, the customer is starting the transaction in a banking application, then this transaction is hitting our payment system because, for example, this is some transactions that the customer wants to pay for something. Then it's going back, have to be sent to our core banking system, then have to be sent to some data warehouse, then to some reporting. So if such complicated thing is in the lots of interrelations, then we are the team that has been contacted. Not always by the developers. Usually there are other product owners that are contacting us.
Thank you. You can grab Wojtek during the coffee break. So huge applause for all sharing all those information.